It's 8 a.m. and you know what that means.
Alrighty,
it's
welcome.
time for...
Oh, are you doing the intro? I'm sorry.
Molly Pugh's Dodd Pass. There's a lot of strange stuff in this song. Welcome to Polymuse, everybody. We're doing a pair of songs here for you.
Two pairs, like a pair of tracks. I don't know.
And they do go together in my mind. They fit together. They're kind of the same style, these two songs. They both end in A. No, they don't. We're delirious.
They both end in vowels.
Wow, yeah, that's not very... We're losing it.
That's okay. Sometimes we put together some loosey gooseys here, just like System of a Down. That transition.
Let's take this from the top. And welcome to Polymuse, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing a pair of tracks from a pair of knuckleheads. My name's Ben.
My name's Michael.
This is called Polymuse. Band we do bands here. We explain them. We dive deep into their discographies, dive deep into their backstories. The band we're doing, System of a Down. The songs we're doing, Revenga and Cigaro. You get the A and the O. You got the feminine, the masculine, the Revenga, the Cigaro. And they're similar in tone. We'll see what they're about. But they kind of fill the void. They're just heavy-hitting System tracks that kind of fill that niche of middle of the road album bangers, but also fill out their storytelling aspects. So
Absolutely.
I think we got plenty to talk about on here, where it's Mezmerize by System of a Down, bringing you in the next episode of Mezmerize.
Bringing you in, taking you for a spin. So let's dig right in with
Mesmerizing.
Yeah, let's go. So verse 1 of Revenga. Revenga, got it.
Sounds like the title of a Nintendo game.
It sure does. Poisoning a drink, bleeding in the sink, choking with a link, killing with a stink. Just your mother's hoe.
Very similar to the chop suey delivery, where it's why do you think he's up on the table? You wanted to. It's just different, like, random things in the room that he's mentioning. Very creepy.
We think. Could be. As you said, these two songs could be related instrumentally. We could also have a weird male-female comparison here. Speculation about this song. Again, we talked about, could this be some kind of poisoning, some kind of, obviously, death situation. There's, talk about an unwanted pregnancy possibly in this one, and maybe a female perspective. Then the next song, possibly a male perspective on something completely different.
But they're dealing conceptually.
Yes.
They've got it as a real polished jewel of a concept. These two songs, they're like Stephen King novels in your mind almost, with the different characters, the My Sweet Clementine. It's like you have no idea what he's talking about. But it's creepy and it's weird, and they really do the different voices. It's creepy.
Vocals
really back to that creepiness of it. It's like picking a random page out of like It and just reading it, and it would just be like just random bad chaos happening to people. And that's kind of what this song feels like. It's like a full movie in your mind where it is open to interpretation, but you've got so many different reactions of different vocal styles and different. Even this bridge is like very slow, like power ballad, and then it just the way they mix and match it all together. It's like a whole universe, like a horror
musical.
It's like a music. They could do a music.
Horror musical.
It is. And there's stuff on Hypnotize that's like that too. I think the first two tracks on Hypnotize, Attack and Dreaming from Hypnotize, and Cigaro and Revenga from Mesmerize.
Yes.
I think all four of those songs are that type where it's like different characters talking back and forth, and it's almost like a stage play of, it would be horrifying, whatever it is. They're like psychopath, some kind of nut job. Weirdos. But Revenge is cool. It's a song. Yeah. It's a story core. It's a story. It's a song. It's a riff. I think the bridge sucks. I saw her laugh, then she said, "Go away." It's just...
we do.
Is that what she said?
Yeah. So the bridge is, I saw her laugh, then she said, "Go away." I saw her laugh. Then she said, "Go away." Now, we do have both vocalists here. We have both vocalists mixed in throughout the song. I like the kind of contrast, the kind of high, the kind of low, the singing, the whispering, the different aspects of that. You don't like that it's kind of a quieter bridge into a nice guitar kind of solo, kind of riff there. Would you amp it up a little bit? Would you build here? What would you do to switch up the bridge?
They could have just done more layers maybe. They do it to like almost a jammy section where it's like a solo, but I would have just doubled down on making it more complicated, like add another vocal part, even if it's just random screams or just ohs or something. I would have layered it back up. I can see going slow and going, but they go spacey and slow.
Yeah.
They go like slow and kind of empty, spacey, creepy. I would have gone slow and just keep adding more elements until it's over type of thing.
I like that. I mean, I like my jammies as much as the next man, but I certainly like...
And it jams. It's a cool solo.
Yeah.
It just is kind of empty.
Well, I don't mind it, but I like the aspects that you're talking about, the different elements that you would add. So I can certainly see that. I would also consider... Yeah, I guess you're right. I would build on it, layer it. I could also... Yeah, because I would think about stripping it down even more to maybe it's just speaking, but then, yeah, building on it. So I like your aspect. I think I'd be right where you are. I like your idea. But overall, I like the track.
It's a good song. Revenga, like I said, Revenga and Cigaro go together for me. Let's give it a rip. Well, here's Revenga, guys. This is going to kind of blow your head off a little bit.
Yeah, blow your head off.
A little bit.
Just a little.
Terrifying song. I hope they got their revenge or whatever they were trying to do there so that they, it's like dropping into a horror story. It's very cool.
Yeah, I always like the visuals provided by lyrics like this, regardless of what direction it sends your mind. So I appreciate that. I love my vocals. I don't mind that they duet back and forth. I know you get tired of Darren taking over things, but I don't mind it at all.
It should be equal. That's all.
Equal opportunity vocalist.
I just want them doing different things from each other, and they are now in this one too. I give it a B+.
B+, man. I gave it a solid A.
Nice. I was thinking A-, but I went B+ on it.
That's solid.
They should be proud.
So we're off to a rip-roaring start here. We don't grade the intro. S's for both of us on Bring Your Own Banana Pie. An A and a B here on Revenga. Why can't I say that? Revenga? I always think Jenga when I see it. That's how I thought as a kid, too. I just thought Jenga.
He says, my revenge. He never says Revenga, does he?
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, well, it's a made-up word. In Cigaro, coming up next, he says Cigaro quite a bit.
He sure does.
Say a lot of words in this one.
Yeah, there are lots of words and symbolism and sizeism.
It's about a measuring contest. It's about egos. It's about an ego measuring contest and how they will be proud of anything. Or what? They're just proud because they're the cruel regulators.
Pretty much. Comparison. My shit stinks much better than yours. My shit stinks right down to the floor.
And they're saying, because like smoking's not actually cool, but when everyone says smoking is cool, then you think smoking is cool. So there's the symbolism. But it's also about like the people that rule the world, right? It's not just people that are having a masculinity crisis. It's about people that are also the cruel regulators. And then it says the regulators that deregulate, the animators that deanimate, the propagators of all genocide. So that's how they tie it in. They're saying all war, it all just goes back to insecurity.
A dick measuring contest, yes. And insecurity. And of course you can be...
And then thinking that destruction is cool.
Yep.
And thinking that suicide is cool. And smoking. I mean, that's what you're doing when you're smoking. It's a little bit of self-destruction, one little puff at a time. So that's kind of, destructive. I would say we probably condemn and rebuke most of this as just a matter of course. We don't want society to be this way or to be run this way. I don't think we are particularly pushy with we know how big. We don't need to be regulating or deregulating or animating or deanimating or propagating a genocide. Like you'd have to have a pretty, like how small is Kim Jong-un to be committing so many genocidal thoughts? To go from...
Must be smoking small cigars.
Straight to his Cigaro does not stink through the floor.
No, it does not. It's really kind of brilliant writing, great writing. We've got the few little twists and turns comparing,
denial,
penis size, the cigarios, the cigars, and
to other brown logs.
Yeah,
a lot of
dictators
stuff you don't want in your mouth, basically.
Yeah, sure. So it's
three
really
things you wouldn't want to.
Really brilliant writing and still tongue in cheek. We'll go tongue in cheek.
But how
And,
dumb are we? I mean, to just on the Cigaro, we're cool in denial. It makes me think of like Joe Cool cigarettes. It's like we're that dumb
Right.
as monkeys to be like, no, it's cool. You
Right.
do it because it's cool. And they're like, oh, it's cool. Okay. Lucky Strike cigarettes. Their tagline is just, it's toasted,
Yeah.
which means nothing. But to your brain, your brain's like, oh, that's delicious. I'll have some.
Yeah.
It means nothing. It's all, I'm sure, baked tobacco. It's like, no, but ours is the toasted. You're dumb enough. We, as an I mean, you, the colloquial you, we are all, there's something that could trick us to be, oh, no, it's cool. It's just marketing. It's whatever we think. It's just flash in the pan. It's like whatever's the next shiny thing. Like, oh, yep, that's what's cool now.
Well, the outro with the feeling so pure, it's got you screaming back for more, of course. There's a direct correlation.
So how
to
dumb
that
are
point.
we that? And he's telling fairy stories. He's saying his can walk right through the door. That's not. It's just. And smoking doesn't make you cool. There are cool people that smoke.
Yeah.
But smoking doesn't help if you're not cool. It's just made up. It's like it's this complete. That's what I'm more interested in. And this whole, short man syndrome or whatever we're talking about. It's the same idea where they've got you're trying to puff yourself up into something that whatever. The guys that buy a big car or whatever because they're compensating or whatever we're talking about here. So
it's really great writing.
It's good. It's a
Yeah.
It's those two concepts together, and your mind can go It's great writing when they do that.
Or one very large concept, depending on what angle you look at it.
Oh, mine can walk right through the door.
Oh,
It doesn't matter what angle you look at it. Let's let it rip. Here is the male half of the female-male duology of Revenga for the female and Cigaro.
Yeah.
Maybe it is what it is. Maybe they're saying this is toxic masculinity. And the other one's toxic femininity. Maybe they're saying bad, evil men are this ego-driven thing, and bad, evil women are like this revenge-driven thing.
And maybe they just have
There's
you mesmerized.
There's a lot to it. It could be.
Could be.
It could be. Here we go. Cigaro. Toxic masculinity for the win, ladies and gentlemen. Let it rip for you. That's even better than Revenga. The bridge is awesome where it goes into like that double time. The awesome bridge. They don't break it down into spacey nothingness. They push forward, push it even farther, even crazier. Come back for one last chorus. That's a good song.
I like the vocals. We got the nice screaming. And of course, the cock talk is primary and sticking out to make it sound kind of like it is kind of we call them the joke songs, of course.
Right. Are these the joke songs?
That's what I think. Well,
There's
this one is. I think I think the other one's a little bit more serious
joke
subject
songs
matter.
After this is a serious song on Mezmerize. Don't forget about the cocaine makes me feel like I'm on the song.
Yeah, I think this is more of the jokes kind of song here. So but this is certainly an enjoyable beat. Certainly something to have the screaming going on, though. If someone doesn't know what you're listening to and you don't have your headphones in.
Is this the funniest out of context System of a Down? Like if you had no frame of reference, like playing this one for like your grandma type of thing.
Well, because Bounce doesn't have the same.
Bounce is weird, but not quite this weird.
Yeah, I mean they're not as blatant with the lyrics. So it's not quite the same.
I feel like people don't even notice. I feel like it's just noise. I feel like you could play this on like a street corner and people would be like, what did he say? I don't know. Or maybe it is. Maybe it is. I don't know. I feel like people are there's people who would be shocked and be like, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. But there's people who would just be like, it's just noise coming out of a speaker, like whatever.
Well, I think with Darren's like screeching, my cock is much bigger than yours. I think that's like a different kind of.
We'll A/B it. We'll play it on a street corner and see how people react.
Yeah, we'll gauge that.
I think it was probably more shocking back in the day. It's not shocking, but it's just like, because there's people, there are like normal, quote unquote, people who are into like Metallica or something.
Sure.
Where they never would do a joke song. And System has audience from the more serious world of metal. There's people who appreciate. So I think it's funny when they have these ones where they have these kind of spiritual songs, and they do.
Yes.
But it's like, it's so funny to imagine someone who like loves just Metallica. It's just funny to imagine like a Metallica fan who knew like one System song and then hearing this and being like, this is the weirdest. Like, what are we listening to? Like, these guys are strange. They've got, and you know, not getting the whole concept of, it's just great that they have the joke songs in there.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's nice to have kind of a mix between some of the serious subject matter of war and dictatorship and fascism and some of these intense political issues and intense humanistic issues, and then be talking about orgies in another track and just be kind of all over the scope a little bit, and then be able to reflect different elements instrumentally and vocally and in the writing. I think that's why we love them, right?
And just having the goofy songs be some of the serious songs too. Like on this one, like we said, there is a lot of symbolism and metaphor in what they're doing. Even though it is like the goofy song, there's still a lot to the writing on this one. So what is that worth for you?
That for me, I gave it a solid B+.
I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to give it an A.
An A. Solid.
That's an A.
Okay.
That's a solid A.
It's one of your top songs.
I would say. I remember this one kind of a lot. I remember one of my cousins having this, and his mom, my other cousin, other side of the family, like his mom was like into metal. That's why I thought of it. Like she was like, oh, I grew up with metal. I know metal. And I remember him being like, wait till she hears this. Like she's not gonna, like she thinks she's up on the new trends of metal, but.
All right. So that is an A for you, a B+ for me on Cigaro.
Figaro. It's cool. Guys, that's Polymuse. We love Mezmerize. We love System of a Down. We love you. We're going to keep bringing you the rest of the tracks on this album, breaking them down, saying what we love, saying what we don't love, putting it onto our Desert Island mixtape, which is going to be a playlist on Spotify.
It is. It's going to be a whopper.
So if and when the world ends, God forbid, we don't want the world to end. That's not what we want. But if you ever found yourself deserted for one reason or another, we'll manifest goodness. You will never be deserted. But if you were,
you will have
the 14 greatest System of a Down mixtape.
Absolutely.
And that will be the point of this podcast. And that's how we're gonna make our millions, Michael. We're going to break the news to them about the best System of a Down podcast, and the record labels are going to call us, and they're going to say, that was brilliant. Here's $1 million. Thank you. We couldn't have done it without you. They don't have a greatest hits. They might as well base it on us.
Yes, we're putting it together right
They
here.
owe us.
5-star us.
Review.
Share us with your friends. We're shareable, and we will talk to you next time.
We'll see you when we see you guys. Love you.